Just waiting for people to get on stream. Not sure how long this one's going to be. Hey guys. Hey Curtis, how you doing, man? Oops. Got the phone plugged in, so there you go. So this is just a live stream kind of test. Excellent. It's good to know that I'm seen. That's kind of part of the idea. Hey Anthony, how's it going, man? Jeez, what time is it over there? Yeah, no, it's so this is just me testing the live stream capabilities for YouTube. Now that I've got over 100 subscribers, actually we're at 167 the last time I looked at the count, so that's absolutely freaking incredible. But yeah, so now I'm over 100 subscribers, I can live stream. So the plan is, in the near future, and probably in the next month or 2 months, depending. Oh wow, you're up early. Glad you could come to spend some time. But yeah, so the 10 o'clock, fair enough. In the morning or in the afternoon? That'd be evening, wouldn't it? Ah, yeah, cool. Well, it'd be time to scritch out. Yeah, the live forging, that's exactly right, Jake. So the idea is that it's coming into the end of Fireband season, and so therefore I'm going to be able to fire up my charcoal forge. And coming to me very, very soon, literally today, fair enough, fair enough. Coming to me today is a 10 kilos of Satanite, so I'll be able to realign my charcoal forge. And that means that I'll be able to run the much quieter forge for live streaming. It's also outside, so I'll get a little bit better lighting. So the plan is, in the next, like probably in about a month or so, I'm going to try and start doing semi-regular blacksmithing live streams. So making stuff on camera, being able to interact with you guys, you know, kind of get some feedback and have some back and forth. Because part of my passion for this kind of hobby, this passion that I've got, is sharing it with others. And so therefore having the opportunity to kind of sit here on the other side of the camera and actually be able to talk to you in real time is something that I'm really looking forward to. It's also a plan for me to start doing classes eventually once I can sort out a space. So, you know, one-on-one classes for people here living here local in Perth. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, Anthony and Curtis, but you're a little far away. But if you ever come to town, make sure you hit me up, man, guys, and I'd be more than happy to catch up. So, as you probably know, as I know Anthony's seen it so far, the hammer making video from today, so this morning at 8:30, I'll upload every Wednesday at 8:30 for you guys who know. You guys all know. But yeah, so I uploaded this rounding hammer, which it wasn't evident. I was in the still photos, but as you can see, that mishit mark was turned sideways, and then I had to right it again. And this is number one. This is the first rounding hammer I ever made. And then obviously on the side it's 2 pounds. And I was really happy that it's 2 pounds. It came in within 2 pounds, within a gram of 2 pounds. So very, very exact. It's still roughed on the handle. It's still got, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it. Yeah, there we go. The spoke shave marks, because I do most of my handles by hand. This is a turned handle, but I spoke shaved the palm swell and all that kind of stuff, and it was just turned round. So I've still got to do all of my sanding grits and stuff like that, finalize it on the grinder, and then do some hand sanding and get that nice and polished, and then it'll start looking like this hammer handle, which is on the dog's head handle, dog's head hammer handle. So the hammerhead, sorry. Blah. This is the dog's head. This is actually the dog's head from the first hammer making video I did. Still here, unfortunately. As much as I love this hammer, I can't use it because it's for sale. It is on my Etsy page, however. If you guys haven't visited my Etsy store, the link is always underneath my videos. BB? Oh, you mean my old RR stamp? Or you mean like the double stamped B on this? Maybe? No, I don't think so. I'm getting... this is what I do for a living at the moment, so... for you guys who don't know, I last year lost my job and was in a really dark place and got a panic disorder and started suffering from depression and a bunch of other stuff, and it made me incapable of going back to work, and I still have trouble in social areas surrounded by people. So working for myself was the best option I had. So this is what I do for a living, and at the moment, luckily I have a partner who is amazingly supportive and works full-time to keep us fed, but this is the plan. Basically, what I'm trying to say is I am trying to save up the money to get a proper Maker's Mark. I have my old Rebel Raptor Creations, which is my previous company, previous hobbyist business, if you like. I have that stamp, which I got made by Buckeye Engraving, but obviously I can't use that with Sandtown's Bladesmith because no one's going to know what the two R's stand for. So I've got to get a new mark made up. I've had a few people contact me, giving me links to people who make stamps, but unfortunately I just don't have the money at the moment to make them, so to pay for them. So hopefully I can sell a few blades and some hammers and stuff like that and actually make some money. Actually, this hammer was a commission. I got commissioned by a guy named Josh. Yeah, Anthony, it's unfortunately far more common than it needs to be. It's far more common than it should be, but it's a reality of life. We just got to forge ahead, no pun intended. But yeah, this hobby keeps me alive, and knowing that I can share my passion with you guys, everyone on YouTube, all the likes and comments and stuff like that, it just keeps me going, keeps me, motivated and stuff like that. And plus, I get really cool people who contact me for commissions. Now, this was commissioned by a guy through my Facebook page, Josh Gaunt, who wanted a 2-pound rounding hammer. I'd never made a rounding hammer before, so I decided to make one, and it turned out pretty boss. I'm not, there's a few things that I can definitely improve on. The fullering, for example, I want to improve my methods. I'm going to make a top and bottom fuller for a striker team, so that I can get better fullers on it, but for now I'm going to have to use the spring fuller because I'm solo, unfortunately, because my apprentice Nathan is no longer with me. He's working full-time, so congratulations to him, but unfortunately that doesn't help me. It's great that he's got a job now, but yeah, it means that I don't have a striker. So working solo, I'll have to use the spring fuller and that kind of thing, but I definitely want to make another one of these, at least for myself, and the plan is that I'm eventually maybe going to make a couple for sale. But in the meantime, I am planning on making at least 1 or 2 more of these dog head hammers, depending on whether or not I can sell this one. So once I now that I've got my, bring up another hammer that you all will recognize, this is a little engraving hammer that I forged on the engraving hammer video, and you saw in the gravers video doing its job. Now that I've got my engraving hammer and my gravers, I'm practicing my engraving, and I'm planning on prettying up the next one of these dog head hammers I do. Probably do some chasing in here, make some really cool little designs and stuff like that. I'll work on how I'm going to do that, but the next one you see of these should be a little bit more fancy than the last one. Another hammer I've been commissioned, I've got hammers coming out my ears at the moment, was this geologist hammer. So this is a pick hammer for... for some reason I'm getting random messages. This is a pick hammer for geologists, archaeologists, for chipping away at rocks. The face is unhardened, The reason for that is that a lot of the time it's used for driving in marking stakes, which are steel, and obviously, you know, for smacking at rocks and stuff like that, and they don't want the hammer face to chip, because chips coming off of a wide surface like this tend to be very sharp, and they tend to travel very fast, so they can hurt you pretty badly. Whereas on the tip, the worst that's going to happen is that the tip's going to snap off. And then that happens, it's not going to snap off at, you know, supersonic speeds and bury itself in your femoral artery. It's hardened back to here. So, sorry, I'm trying to orient myself for the camera. Hardened back to about there, and then tempered back from here down to the point. So it's a chisel temper, much like the old school guys used to do. Turn to a light straw. It's very hard, but it was resilient enough that it's probably not going to chip. This one's a custom commission, the owner of which is going to be picking it up today. He should be here in about 15 minutes, so I may have to go off stream early. But, yeah, so I am making a lot of hammers. Now, you guys know, probably, watching my channel, that I am a bladesmith. That is my main kind of calling in the blacksmithing realm. I love making blades, and you guys haven't seen a lot of my blades. If you give me 2 seconds... And the back. So, got a few knives with me. So this one you'll recognize, obviously. This is the Celtic Blacksmith's knife that I made in the Celtic Blacksmith's knife video, funnily enough. This one hangs up in my shed as a kind of a reminder of all my YouTube kind of fun. I'm not planning on selling this one. I have a bunch of these for sale on my Etsy store. Link down in the description of all of my other videos. But they're much better quality. I actually use the fire ant grinder to do my bevels on those. This one was made entirely by hand. It was the first one that I'd done entirely by hand in a long time, and it was a great experience. But yeah, so that was the only knife I think I've made on the channel. I have done that micarta making video, which I've got the billet of micarta sitting around here. Oh, there it is. Totally disorganized. So this is that billet of micarta. It's nice and solid. The pattern actually came out really nice. I'm looking forward to putting this on the blade that I've made for it, which is sitting inside. It's a harpoon clip fighter for a active duty, well actually, yeah, he's active duty federal police, but he was former active duty Australian military, so Australian Army. He was in intelligence corps. Hey! So that person that I said was going to visit me is now here. So give me 2 seconds, guys. Down, shut it. Shut up. Shut up.
Got to grab some stuff in the car.
No worries, man.
Hello.
Shut up.
Hello.
No shutter inside. Shut up. In. There you go.
You on live?
Yeah, I'm on stream. Say hi to Lawrence, everyone. We've got Anthony and Curtis watching.
Very cool.
Yeah, so I'm just testing out all the live streams and stuff like that. So Lawrence is a friend of mine. He's a knife maker. He also does some really cool blades. He does mostly stock removal, all stock removal at the moment. Yeah, but he doesn't have a YouTube channel. He has an Instagram page called Snake and Rabbit Knives. That's Snake and Rabbit Knives. It's Lawrence. But yeah, so Snake and Rabbit Knives, if you look him up on Instagram, at Snake and Rabbit Knives, you'll be able to see a bunch of his stuff. One of his most recent knives, he got sharpened to about 20 bess, which, if you guys don't know, the bess scale is the measurement scale for sharpness of knives. 20 bess is insanely sharp. So yeah, he does some really cool stuff. He also makes custom chopping boards and stuff like that. I'm hoping to do a collaboration with him sometime in the future. But anyway, so as far as blades go, I've only got a couple here. All good, Anthony. I don't think he's that offended. Honestly, I don't think he's that thin-skinned. So this is a knife I made for myself in 2014. 2015. This was my 2015 birthday knife. So I make myself a knife every year to commemorate my birthday, and also to give myself a challenge to challenge myself to make something harder than the year before. So this one I made out of W2, and you can see I'm trying to play the light on it. You can see there's a nice hamon, really nice hamon. This one came out really nice. So this is W2 blade, harpoon clip, hunter with silica bronze guard, onyx spacer, and she oak handle. This has actually got a cyanacrylate sealant. And then I made the leather sheath, which I made with retention. So yeah, this is what I do. this is what I normally specialize in. One of the reasons that I've been doing a lot of blacksmithing on the channel is blacksmithing is a lot easier to video than knife making, because knife making can be incredibly boring. In order to make an interesting video of a knife making, I'd have to make a knife from start to finish in one video and make it under 10 minutes. And the thing with that is that this knife took me 5 straight days of work. So the turnover in footage versus, you know, the actual video is ridiculous. Whereas with the, say this 2-pound rounding hammer, this was a 2-day project. The engraving hammer was a 1-day project. And the dog's head hammer was a 1-day project. So it's just a matter of how fast I can spin it out. And also, it's I want to share part of my learning with you guys. So I'm learning how to do all of the hammer making and stuff like that. That dog's head hammer was the second hammer I'd ever made. This is my first rounding hammer. It's all about sharing the learning experience. Do you want to have a look? There you go. So yeah, it's about sharing that learning experience, sharing that kind of mission with you. I've been practicing knife making for about 5 years now, and well, four years, and I'm getting a lot better. So yeah, this was 2015. Now I had a custom commission, which then the commissioner dropped out on me, and that's this bad boy. So this is a Herculean Bowie knife. It's actually a Hudson Bay pattern Bowie knife. So it's got the raised point of the Hudson Bay pattern, but it's also got a Bowie knife handle. Now it is full tang, and it's got a guard. It was the biggest pain in the ass to mount the full guard on a full tang, but it came out really nice, very comfortable in the hand, very choppy. It's forged out of a 1920s French pattern farrier's rasp, which hardened much akin to about 1084. Not quite as hard as I would have expected, but a lot harder than you'd say 5160 and stuff like that. It's not sharpened at the moment, but as you might be able to see, it's not focusing very well, but it's got a very, very fine edge profile. All of my blades have a flat grind with a minor convex down to almost 0, and then the final edge. And the reason for that is because it provides the best cutting performance that I've ever seen. And I got that piece of info from a guy called Jerry Fisk, who is a master smith with the American Bladesmith Society. I'm an apprentice smith with the American Bladesmith Society. Have been for about a year now, hoping to eventually go for my journeyman's 1 year. But anyway, so this knife was actually commissioned off an old knife that I made way back. This is called the Mongrel. I made this in outback Queensland in a fire pit with a hammer and a rock. Basically, it was very primitive. This was like 3 years ago. I was on a holiday and I decided to make a knife, and I wanted to make a Bowie knife because I'd never made one before. And so I made this. It's one of the knives that I haven't sold because it's rough. It's really rough, but it works so well. It's got a very, very thin edge. It chops brilliantly. And I was actually using this to process firewood when the commissioner for this came up to me and said, "Hey, can I have one?" Now this one is for sale. Now you can only buy it through my Facebook page at the moment because I haven't put it up on my Etsy store. So you guys get in first. If you want this knife, it's $350 US. And for you guys that are watching the live stream, if you say, hey, I saw this in the live stream, I will pay the shipping costs to you, no matter where you are in the world. So, $350 AUD, so Australian dollars, which I'm not sure what the US dollar is getting right now. I think we're getting 72 cents to the Australian dollar at the moment. But yeah, so 350 AUD for this one, and I will pay shipping costs if you mention that you bought it in the live stream. So yeah, this is one of the ones I've made recently. I'm working on a much bigger buoy. Actually, Lawrence, would you mind grabbing the big buoy blade off the top of the chair over there? So I've got my wedding coming up, as I've told everyone now, and I've got a week to finish this. Now this is my wedding knife. It's a little bigger than your average wedding knife, but yeah, I wanted to have a Muso pattern buoy for a long time, and so I forged myself a Muso pattern buoy blade last year for my birthday knife. Unfortunately, what happened was I didn't have enough time to finish it in the week that I had, because originally this was going to be Damascus. And the Damascus billet I made delaminated on me horrifically, so I ended up forging this 5160 version. But then the week ended, because I only ever give myself a week to work on it, and unfortunately this is how far I got. So this next week is going to be me making this. The video next week will be me mounting the guard on this. I've already filmed most of it, I just have to do the final seating and stuff like that. And then there will be a video on making the handle and stuff like that as well. So you can look forward to seeing the updates of this big badass buoy getting made. Anyway, guys, unfortunately I'm going to have to cut the stream short for now. I will have to, I will come back on the live stream maybe on Saturday, just to do, I'm from Australia, Rosie, Western Australia. I will be coming back on stream maybe on Saturday about the same time, so about 1 o'clock Australian Western Standard Time. And I will have a bit of a Q&A then as well after I upload Saturday's video. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I'm really glad to have you all. Hope to see you in the next live stream. Remember to contact me about that blade if you want it, and my Etsy store links are underneath all of my most recent YouTube videos. So if you go to my Etsy store, you can see that there are Celtic blacksmith's knives, bottle openers, that hammer, and one of my throwing mouse hawks from the mouse hawk video. So make sure you go and check that out as well. Anyway, I'll see you then, guys. See ya.